News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Schrock Innovations presents
Nebraska's #1 independent computer repair company.
with offices in Omaha and Lincoln. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock, and I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. 402 always gets me. 866-496-8772. See, the people outside Nebraska appreciate the 866-496-8772. It's all the people in Nebraska. You know, all the old numbers still work, guys. You can still use them, but they still come to the same place. But 866-496-8772 is the official number to call in, ask a question, make a comment. We'll also get you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, good for anything your heart desires over at the service center. You can use it toward a computer. You can use it toward a computer repair. Perhaps you are ready for a maintenance checkup on your machine. You can come in and get that done. If you happen to have purchased a preventative maintenance checkup certificate, now is the time to come on in and use that. Right now, the ones that were purchased, I believe it was in February or March, they are expiring any day now, like within a day or two. So make sure you get those into the service center and get those computers done so you don't miss out on that certificate that you paid for. Otherwise, the ones that were just purchased here recently, of course, are good for 6 months. But right now, this time of year, the back-to-school rush is finally over with. Everything's calming down a little bit. We're gearing up for the holiday season, and there's a little bit of a lull in the repair work. So you can actually get in right now at any of the 3 service centers and get really great turnaround times to get your computer fixed up. All right, so we have a pretty good show for you here today planned. I got a lot to talk about, actually. Let's see, jumping through the headlines real quick. We've got big changes ahead for iPhone 8 users. If you have an iPhone and you're thinking about picking up the new iPhone 8, there's going to be a big announcement. They're going to launch it on the 15th. This phone is rumored to be radically different from the iPhone that you have, so much so that you're going to have to, according to them, relearn how to use the iPhone because it's completely different than what it used to be. We spent a lot of time talking about the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update. This is the 4th major update to Windows 10. And the previous 3 have resulted in numerous issues, basically. About 20% of the people that got any of the updates, which when you think 20% 4 times over, so of 100% of the audience, 20% had a problem. And then the second time around, 20% of the other people had a problem. The third time around, 20% of the people had a problem. This is the 4th time around. We expect to see about 20% of the people having some kind of a problem with it. But we haven't ever sat down and told you all the stuff that's good about it, the stuff you're going to get from the Windows 10 update. We just, oh no, watch out, here it comes. Like, oh, it's going to smack you. But no, there's actually some good stuff there too. Sales are going really well of the Schrock Safe Upgrade software as well on our website at SchrockInnovations.com. This is the piece of software that the innovators at Schrock created to shepherd you through this upgrade. You can allow the upgrade to come down automatically from Microsoft when and if it chooses to. Sometimes it takes up to a month to actually install, but you can wait for it to come down. You can let it install itself, and you can hope everything is okay. Like I said, 80% of the people won't have a problem. It's the 20% of the people that do have a problem that are going to end up in our service centers because their hard drives were going bad. Yes, Betty, I'm talking to you. Poor Betty, Drive Advisor was telling her hard drive was bad for so long, and then she brought her computer into the service center, and when we logged in, it gave us a Drive Advisor flag saying, oh, she has a bad hard drive. It's kind of spooky where we can just look at you and say, oh, you have a bad hard drive. But basically it popped up and said, yeah, Drive Advisor's been alerting Betty that she has a bad hard drive for some time, and she brought it in because it was acting funny. Well, a hard drive at 21% health will act a little funny sometimes. So yeah, that was an interesting thing. But if you have that situation where your computer is not doing the things that you think it's supposed to be doing, when that happens, don't try to install a major update. That's probably not the best thing. All right. So, but for most people, the update will go okay. But for, like I said, 20% of the people, it won't. Schrock Safe Upgrade is there for you. What it does is it's a $50 program, and it will check the status of your antivirus to make sure your antivirus is up and running. We don't make any judgments about what antivirus you're running. If you're not running Endpoint, it's going to tell you, hey, there's something better. But you don't have to install it before you do the update. As long as you have some kind of antivirus running and you believe that that antivirus is good, we're going to move forward with the assumption that you're probably virus-free. Then step 2. We're going to go through and make sure all your third-party software is up to date on the computer. That's one of the reasons these updates can fail. And that all of the old third-party software is gone. Yeah, that's a new one. So when we went back and looked at causes for failures, old versions of Java was a big one in one of the updates. So we said, well, why would people have old versions of Java? Well, we turned around and looked and found that when Java installs its new version, when you get the little orange icon down there in the taskbar and it says, oh, hey, here's your Java, it's time for an update. You say, oh, great, and you do it. Well, it doesn't remove the old version of Java that was there before. And so over time, as you get a new update and a new update and a new update, you have all these old versions. And if something goes wrong with the current version, guess what? It reverts back to the unsafe version. So, yep, it runs, but just not very securely. And so we're going to remove all those old, outdated versions of the software that don't need to be there anymore, so you're just running the good current version. All right, so then we'll have that taken care of. We're, of course, going to test your hard drive because that was the biggest reason for failure was that, hard drives don't usually fail with a bang. It's not like, you're driving down the road one day and your transmission falls out on the interstate. Oh, no. Most auto failures don't happen that way. It's the same thing with computers. You're driving down the road and your car is fine, and all of a sudden you hear a little noise, and then there's a little vibration, a little shimmy. And then you think, oh, that's weird. And then after a month or so, you get used to the shimmy, and then it's normal. And then the shimmy gets a little worse and a little worse and a little worse. And then you decide to take it in somewhere for an oil change, just normal preventative maintenance. And then the guy comes back out and he's like, did you know there's only like a half a bolt holding your engine in your car? And you're like, oh, my goodness, really? Okay. Same thing happens with computers. Like Betty, she brings it in because it's acting a little funny and it's got a 21% hard drive. So we're going to test your hard drive to make sure that your hard drive is in good shape and ready to go. Then the next thing is these Windows updates are incredibly slow to download. You got to think how many millions of computers around the world are downloading this update at roughly the same time. It is incredibly slow to download. So what we're going to do at Schrock is we're going to download an initial copy, and then we're actually buying our own Amazon S3 web server. We're not putting it on our server because we don't want to crush our server. We're going to put it all on there, and we're going to say, hey, here we go. It's ready to download. It's ready to rock and roll. And when you go to download it, it's going to use the full extent of your internet connection to download from that Amazon S3 server. Costs us a little bit to do that, but that's why you're paying $50 for the software. So then you get that update downloaded really quickly. It installs on your computer, and after the reboot, it'll come up and tell you was everything successful or not. And if yes, great. And if not, then hey, we get to try again or contact the service center for more assistance. Something went wrong. We need to look into this a little bit more. Your computer is one of the 20%. Of course, we'll try to help you over the Schrock desk, but the biggest thing is you have a warranty at that point. All the people that, and we've decided, how are we going to contact people? I really, really, really don't want to. I don't want to push people to do something they don't want to do, and I don't want to. I'm not here to scare you about a Windows update, and I don't want to send a call fire to everybody, a robocall to everybody. But here's the thing: we went back and looked, and we said, let's look at how many people we actually did Windows 10 installs for, and then let's look at how many people subsequent to that of those same people have been in for 2 of the last 5 maintenance checkup specials. These are people who are actively concerned with the health of their computer. And we came up with, there's a core of a couple thousand customers that Schrock has that take their computers really, really seriously. Everybody else, from time to time, they'll come in, but there's a core of 2,000 or so that are very serious. And we know that, not all 2,000 of them are going to do the safe upgrade. And we said, well, if we're going to put warranties on these people's computers, just in case something dramatic goes wrong that we don't expect, if there's some crazy bug in Microsoft software or something that nobody would have ever expected, we're going to have a lot of warranties on our hand. How many warranties can we potentially service under an emergency situation in a short period of time? We figured we could handle about 1,000 warranties of various degrees for various reasons over a 2-week period. So That's where we capped the sale of the Schrock Safe upgrade software at 1,000. And that's 1,000 computers, not 1,000 customers. That's an important distinction. I've had a lot. I've seen orders coming in from the same customer for one copy. So they ordered one copy, then they ordered a second copy, then they ordered a third copy. You need one for each computer. So if you have 3 computers at home, you need to buy 3 copies. If you've already purchased one copy, you need to purchase 2 others. There are only 1,000 of these available. We've sold through a couple hundred of them already, which is kind of, frankly, a little shocking to me because the update isn't coming in till like the end of the month. So we've got a month to go here, and people are getting in that early. Usually, I hate to say it, but all human beings are procrastinators. Usually it's the last week of a sale when everyone's like, oh boy. Same thing with the maintenance checkup sale. The last week, certificate sales go through the roof because everyone's, oh, I almost forgot about that. Let me get in on that deal. So I'm going to throw it out there. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but you should check it out on our website, SchrockInnovations.com. Click on shop, click on specials, find out the information you need there. But we haven't told you any good stuff that's coming with this big update. So we might as well, you have to have the update anyway. So let's go ahead and talk about some good stuff too. All right. Also on the program, thousands of sensitive mercenary resumes were exposed after a security lapse. Mercenaries. Yeah. Well, dang it. I knew I shouldn't have sent that resume to Blackwater. That's terrible. All right. Also on the program today, let's see. We got tons of stuff here. Giant ransomware campaign. Yeah, that's a new one. Okay, great. And then we were just talking about this last week. We were just talking about how I can't wait for 5G to come out and just give me some place to go that I can switch to that's not going to have a data cap on my internet, charging me, $50 a month extra, which ironically Cox is offering an unlimited plan for $50 a month more. And which is the same price as using your data cap in full every month. So why would you do that? But then the funny thing is a lot of people started dropping down to the basic, the slower speed of internet, and then utilizing as much as they want, resulting in a $50 data cap. So their bill remained unchanged, but they just dropped the speed of their internet a little bit. And Cox's internet's pretty fast, so dropping it a little bit's not a big deal. Cox finally caught on to that, guys, and they got rid of the lower speed package. They just got rid of it. And so now there is no lower speed package. But they put an unlimited package on for those of you concerned with bandwidth that happens to cost exactly the same as using your full bandwidth every month and encountering all the fees that go along with that. So AT&T is expanding their 5G trials in various cities. 5G is, of course, wireless internet at up to 10 gigabits a second. Now, to put that in perspective for you, if you have DSL, so if you get your internet over your telephone line, that's faster than the internet they can deliver to your home consistently for customers over a telephone line. That's faster than DSL. And this is over the air to a cell phone. So you get a little hotspot or something, and boom, you've just completely circumvented the entire cable company or telephone company or whatever the case might be. 866-496-8772. Also, if you're not already doing so, you can watch the show live on Facebook, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Quick thing I want to mention also, the voting in the Best of Omaha competition is about wrapped up. If you could take a moment to vote for us, I'd appreciate it. We're also up for voting if you don't happen to live in Omaha. Maybe you live in Sarpy County, where our Papillion Service Center is located. The Sarpy County People's Choice Award is the counterpart there. We would appreciate your vote in that as well, the Sarpy County People's Choice. Mark, if you could go ahead and throw a link up there for me on Facebook so that people have an easy way to get to that. All right, 866-496-8772. One of the cool things about Facebook is you can also ask questions there. And Bob has written a question where he asks, what's your opinion of password management software, and would you recommend a vendor? Is there any way to renew Endpoint on the website because he could not find it? All right. Great questions, Bob. First of all, let me take the easy one first, the Endpoint. If you bought Endpoint in our service center, our current system, the way that everything is set up, we're in the middle of a conversion right now from the old school method to the new school method. So you're seeing every few months we have a big new feature on our website, like the Schrock Safe upgrade software. Before, a year or 2 years ago, you would have called the service center, you would have bought it there, we would have printed out an invoice for you, we would have put it in a basket. And then when the software was available, we would have sent each individual person in the basket an email like, your software is ready, here's your code. Your software is ready, here's your code. Well, the guys at Schrock Interactive were like, hey, oh, no. We figured out that just the maintenance checkup certificates alone, by automating that process through our website, The last maintenance checkup sale, we saved 25 hours of labor just in typing invoices and creating certificates and emailing to people. 25 hours of labor saved, which doesn't sound like, it's not a ton. It's one part-time employee for a week, basically. But you add that up over all the different things we do, and all of a sudden we have a lot more time to stay on the phone and talk to customers. You can't cut the people. That's the thing. In a service business, you can't cut people. Because if you cut the people completely out, you just suddenly don't have a service business anymore. We don't have any AI yet, guys. Not like that. Not that can help you out, all right? So we got to keep the wetware, the humans, in place still. And so when we keep the humans in place, we can automate some things to make the human's life easier so we can spend more human-to-human time. But with that said, there are some things that we haven't automated yet. And one of the things we have not yet automated is the renewal of endpoint purchases that are purchased in the service center. So if you have your computer in for a repair and you buy endpoint there from one of our technicians who installs it, then they invoice you at the front desk and you come to pick up the computer and pay for it, you're going to get a robocall from Schrock to renew your endpoint software, and then you have to call back into the service center, give us the credit card number, and we can renew it for you. In the future, there will be an online renewal option for that. Right now, for example, if you buy your initial endpoint on our website, so for example, if you went to SchrockInnovations.com right now, went to software, and purchased the endpoint software to protect your computer from viruses, you would have renewals automatically built into that because you bought it online. So if you buy it online, it creates the subscription for you, and we have not yet rolled all of our subscriptions into because some people don't want the auto renews. So if you buy, it's kind of like an opt-in. If you buy it online, you get the auto renew. If you don't, then you have to renew manually. All right, so next thing is, what is your opinion of password management software, and would you recommend a vendor? This is a great question because it capitalizes on two important issues that are directly in conflict with each other. Oh boy, I don't trust a single entity to manage security and access to everything that's important in my life. It's kind of like, do you have a good friend that you would give the passwords to everything to? I mean, we're talking passwords to your 401k. I mean, literally, a good friend, maybe you do. If that one password management company gets compromised one time, you are toast. Everything in your life is wide open, blown wide open. So as a result, I tend not to trust password management companies, which means, unfortunately, I know I'm supposed to have a unique 16-digit character password for every different website and thing I log into. I know that password is supposed to have capital letters, lowercase letters, special characters, unless you're logging into a certain credit card company's websites, which ironically then prohibits you from having special characters. We wouldn't need that to be secure at all. And, symbols and things like that. And I'm not supposed to use any words, any English words. I'm not supposed to use like birthdays or acronyms of kids' names and things that could be figured out easily. They're supposed to be completely randomly generated, nonsensical passwords that are completely unmemorable. And I also know that I don't do that. I have certain, I use password zones. I have certain passwords that I use for certain things, and then, once every couple, like in 2015, we had a big change in staff, and I rolled a whole ton of passwords. It was one of those things where any of my common passwords all got rolled on a case-by-case basis as I used the old one, then I changed it to the new one. So with that said, I don't have one that I would recommend, because as soon as I recommend one, if I recommend one to you on the air and 1,000 of you start using it, and then they get compromised, I feel like I'm responsible for recommending it. And I know that's an unrealistic fear on my part, but I feel like if I steer you in a direction and that direction ends up to be wrong, I don't want to put myself in that position. So you can find tons of password managers online. I believe Symantec has one. If you want to integrate it with your Norton software, you can. But, show me the organization that hasn't been compromised at some point, at some level, and I'll trust them. But unfortunately, we live in a world of zero-day vulnerabilities, and that's one of the things that the new Windows 10 Creators Update is supposed to help protect you against. These zero-day vulnerabilities are new bad ways that people can get into your computer that no one knows about yet. And as a result, when people get into your computer through a new method that no one knows about, they just get right in. It's like they have keys to the kingdom, and they just walk right in your back door. That can happen to the password management company. And so I prefer not to store my stuff there. Obviously, you don't want to keep them on a computer, and save them on a spreadsheet or anything. It was pretty funny because, I was somewhere and so a customer couldn't remember their password. I'm like, have you looked under the keyboard yet? And they're like, what? Or maybe behind the right side of the monitor on the right edge, is there a Post-it note there? And like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, those are the two most common places people hide the password. It's like they put it under the keyboard or behind the monitor on like a sticky note there. All right. Thank you for the question, Bob. We appreciate your participation there on Facebook. 866-496-8772. Got to take our first break of the program. Jeffrey and Linda, your calls are coming up next on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This pro tip number 187. Recently, you may have received a phone call from someone claiming to be from Microsoft or had a message pop up on your screen telling you that your computer was infected. Do not respond to these calls or messages. They're always a scam. Microsoft will never call you about your computer. Here's how the scam actually shakes out. You get the phone call that your computer's infected. The scammers hit you with some mumbo jumbo about an infected IP address. They'll ask your permission to connect and help you fix it. Once they're in your computer, they do a bunch of fake scans that detect a lot of problems that really aren't there. You see the scan results and figure, your computer's in trouble. Next, the scammers will demand up to $400 to clean up the computer and set you up with a lifetime protection. Don't fall for the scam. Keep good security software installed, like Endpoint and Secure Updater, so when things like this do happen, you know you are covered. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. In those wonderful boxes of bricks and mortar where the retail apocalypse is being fought off day and night. The Watchers on the Tower. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, that might be a much. All right, whatever. But in those service centers, we do a lot of great things for people. We recover data from hard drives that are failing. We will go through your computer to maintenance it, so we do a lot of repair and maintenance work. The guys at Schrock Interactive build websites. We just got the gig to build a new website for the city of Louisville, Nebraska. So that we're really excited about that one. That one's going to be great. It's not Louisville. You ask anyone in that town, Louisville's in Kentucky. It's Louisville, straight up. All right. So that way you know if you hear someone say Louisville and they're talking about Nebraska, they're not from Nebraska. Yeah, because it's Louisville. So the city of Louisville, we're excited to have you on board as Schrock Interactive clients. We're going to make you proud with that website there. It's a great town, a great city, great people as well. So we do a lot of interesting stuff. We have the innovators at Schrock that create products like the Schrock Safe Upgrade. They do that kind of work for other clients too. So if you need to automate something in your office, or if you have a business that you're spending a ton of time doing something and you just wish it could be automated, that one-time automation cost will save you, as I mentioned, just creating the maintenance checkup certificate on the website as a product that customers can purchase on the website. And we fully integrated that with all of our other systems so that it's just like a human entered it. Saves us 25 man-hours of labor every time we run a sale, and we do the sales twice a year. So that's 50 hours of labor a year. It's like having a free employee for a 2-week period every year, which gives our people more time to spend talking to our customers, servicing their equipment, and making sure everything's up to date. So we're open today in all 3 service centers. We're open Saturdays, of course, from 10 on 10 in the morning until 8 p.m. Sundays, we're open from noon to 5. You can come into any of the service centers. The turnaround times are outstanding right now. The guys would love to have you in, so we can get you all taken care of there. 866-496-8772. The first caller of the show today is Jeffrey, and we're going to get to your call here in just a second. I'm going to grab the call screener's attention here. He's talking to somebody else right now and not listening to me, so this is what we affectionately call filling in radio. This is where we talk about something that doesn't matter for a period of time while we wait to get the attention of someone that can push the button for line 1 for Jeffrey. And as soon as we get to that line 1 for Jeffrey button, then we can go ahead and take Jeffrey's call on line 1. Welcome to the program, Jeffrey. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hi, Thor. Okay, I had a fire at my house earlier last month.
Oh, man.
And,
is everybody okay?
We lost a mother cat and 4 kittens, but all humans are all right. Had my external hard drives, because we were switching out computers and stuff like that. We had I had 2 external hard drives. Long story, but one of them I haven't found yet. It might be in a pile of, but the other one I wasn't able to find. Now I can see a little bit, maybe smoke damage or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't see any of the housing melted or whatever. What's the probability of it surviving? At least the idea is like, what is it worthwhile for me to even bring it into you guys to see if things can be covered off there or not?
Oh, absolutely. Things can always be recovered from hard drives that are failing and whatnot. Now, here's the thing: the hard drive right now. Have you tried to plug it in and use it?
No, it's an external hard drive backup system.
Gotcha. But so, have you plugged it into a computer to see if it spins up and works?
No.
Okay.
No.
So yeah, honestly, that's the first thing we're going to do in the shop is we're going to plug it in and see if it works. Because if we can plug it in and get it to work long enough to pull the data off of it, we're not going to charge you for a data recovery. It'd just be a data transfer. It's a lot cheaper, and it's a lot faster too. So the first thing I would do is plug that. If is it a backup that has stuff on it that you need right now, or is it just a backup drive that you could replace if it was bad?
I've gone through and picked up some of the stuff that I've had to have off Google and Amazon, where I've got some stuff saved up there. So I've got some where I've got blank invoices where I need to get. So no, I don't need to have it right away. It's been a month since the fire. So
no, I mean, do you need to have it at all?
There might be some pictures, like some family photos and stuff
Gotcha.
like that, as well as the would be stuff like come tax season, like well, I don't have records of how much I got for tips during this period because they were all saved either on the hard drive or on the backups, and if I can't find it on them, then well, IRS is going to say I'm going to have to guess on what I got for tips that month.
Gotcha. Okay. So here's what I would recommend, Jeffrey. There's a couple ways that we can go about this. We can say, hey, go ahead and just plug it in and see if it works. Because if it works, you can buy a new external hard drive and just transfer everything over to the new drive. And that's great. Now, if you plug it in and it doesn't work or it makes clicking sounds or anything like that, then we have a bigger problem. Now, there is a small risk in this, is that, like I said, in the shop, we're going to plug it right in. Now, when we have a suspect drive, we never just plug it into a regular computer. We're going to plug it into a data recovery imager, because in the off chance that we only get that drive to spin up one time, and we spin it up and it works great, then we power it down and we take it over to a computer to transfer it, and we plug it back in, and then it doesn't spin back up right again, that's bad news. And so what we'd probably do is, to be safe, we would probably put it in the data recovery lab and spin it up back there. And then the data recovery lab is in our Omaha service center. We'd probably transfer it there unless you drop it off there. And then once we have it back in the lab, when we spin it up, if it works fine and we're able just to copy everything off of it, it's not a data recovery. You're looking at a data transfer, which is $149 flat rate, regardless of how long it takes, which is actually a big benefit for you at this point, because a damaged hard drive is going to transfer slower than a healthy hard drive. Number two, if something does go sideways, it's already in the lab with people who are used to dealing with hard drives that are failing. So that's the best place for it to be. So honestly, Jeffrey, if you're feeling adventurous, go ahead and plug it in and try. And if you're not feeling adventurous, if it's something that's really genuinely important to you, like family photos and things you can't lose, you don't have a copy of somewhere else, it might be safer to bring it into the shop so we can take a look at it. Thank you very much for the call. I do have you in the drawing, Jeffrey, for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate as well. Got to take our bottom of the hour break here, but Linda and Stephanie, hang on the lines. You're coming up next on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. And now Compute This Pro tip number 373. Everyone knows we're supposed to back up our computers and then check those backups periodically to make sure they're working. So why don't most people do it? Lots of people have different ideas about what backing up means. Is it copying files to a flash drive? Is it using a fancy backup program? And how do you know it's working anyway? Windows makes backups easy through free software that's already on your computer. Open your control panels and click Update and Security. Select Backup and choose from all of the available options to get a regular, reliable checkup. You'll need something to back up to, like a Schrock modular storage device or some other backup hard drive. Backups usually run once a week, but you can always change the frequency. The best part is that if your backup ever fails, you'll see a notification in the lower right corner by your clock telling you something's up. Backing up your important data has never been easier. So take a moment to back up your computer today. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Gulf Coast disaster, a day of prayer in Texas. Church services will focus on healing from Hurricane Harvey as the aftermath from record flooding lingers. In Houston, some neighborhoods are beginning to clean up from receding waters. Other residents are under new evacuation orders near flooded reservoirs. In Beaumont, Texas, residents still without their own water supply. ABC's Kenneth Moten is there.
Emergency in Beaumont, Texas. The city's more than 100,000 residents are still without running water. The system flooded, damaged by Harvey in the swollen Neches River, 7 feet above the record level. The river has crested, but the raging floodwaters are slow to recede. Beaumont says it could be days, weeks, or even longer before crews can inspect the pumps and make repairs. The city, the state, and the feds are now working together to get drinking water into the hands of thousands. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Houston.
Officials say the death toll now stands at 44. With continuing coverage, Gulf Coast disaster, I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
We're waking up to a few areas of dense fog this morning. That is expected to burn off by late morning, and temperatures will gradually climb into the lower 90s for this afternoon. We get into tonight will stay mostly clear with temperatures cooling into the upper 60s. Tomorrow will be cooler with a high of 85 degrees. With Omaha's most accurate weather team, I'm WOWT6 meteorologist Peter Sherwood, News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. As always, every week, way too much stuff to cram into 1 hour, but they only give me 1 hour, so we deal with what we've been given. 866-496-8772. Thousands of sensitive mercenary resumes exposed after security lapse. Wow. Okay, seriously, I want to see a Mercs resume. I'm sure it's pretty straightforward stuff. I mean, these guys are professional soldiers. That's what a mercenary is a professional soldier for hire, basically. So I'm sure their resumes look like a lot of other professionals. They have unit numbers and designations and missions and theaters of combat and things like that. But I mean, I just, I bet every one of these guys has stories they could tell. There's a person that I know that once dated a mercenary. She was actually dating a mercenary, and hey, I got to go to work, and he'd be gone for 3 weeks, and he'd come back with a big diamond. like a big like here's a big old blood diamond. I mean, I don't know, and he would never talk about where he was or what he did or who he did it for, but the guy was nuts. I mean, from everything, I didn't know the guy. I knew the person he was dating, but from everything I understand, the guy was an adrenaline junkie. I mean, he was a merc, you know. Resumes for hundreds of individuals who applied for work in U.S.-based private security firm have been exposed to a security lapse by a third-party recruiting firm. Oh, my goodness. So wait, let me get this straight. The mercenary companies use third-party recruiting agencies to recruit mercenaries. Do they have like a job fair? You know, I just want to cover that. Okay, can I cover that? You know, for a radio station or something? Like I'm covering the Merc Fair or Merc 18, or you know they have Burning Man, a little it's like what is it, Bombing Man? I don't know. Around 9,400 resumes were discovered on a stored public unlisted Amazon Web Services server. So there was no security on it, basically. The server belongs to recruitment company Talent Pen, which until February was contracted by mercenary firm Tiger Swan to provide services for voluntary resume submission. This is kind of like walking on, if you're with the Huskers, you can walk onto the team and they say if you're good enough, you can stick around. This is kind of that, I'm thinking. The resumes reveal the personal details of prospective employees who had applied to work for Tiger Swan as far back as 2008, when the security firm was founded, including former coalition and allied forces and other private military contractors. Many of those who joined the company's ranks went on to provide security work in the aftermath of the Iraq War. At the Sochi Olympics, and more controversially, the reportedly unlicensed North Dakota pipeline protests. You never hear about that. Mercenaries were hired to hold back those protesters, actually. So that's they don't always work for governments. Like if you have the money, you can go hire your own mercenary force. I mean, it's pretty Wild West stuff. The exposed documents list all the information that you'd expect to see on a resume. Some of the people on the resumes have top secret clearances. The majority are U.S. veterans. They're so sorry. It's so sad. Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I on one hand, I kind of want to do a Google search for like mercenary resume and see what comes up. And on the other hand, I don't, Sometimes if you go looking for trouble, you find it. 866-496-8772. Linda, you're next up on the show. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I have a pop-up on my computer, and it says Firefox has prevented the outdated plugin Adobe Flash from running, and it's only on certain websites I go to.
Okay.
And so when I'm looking at my computer, down in the right-hand corner, my Secure Updater is red. Is that right?
If your Secure Updater is red, that means there's something that needs to be installed that it's tried to install and it can't. And the main reason it couldn't install a Flash update, like the current version of Flash is 26.0.0.151. So you don't care about the other numbers. It's .151, the last three numbers. That's the current version. So you're probably outdated. Now, if your Firefox is open when you're trying, or if your web browser is open when you try to install something like Flash, it can't install. And so it has to wait until your browser is closed. So what we'd want to do here is, just to be super safe and make sure that everything is closed, if you just restart your computer and then let Secure Updater, before you open anything, Secure Updater will load up and it'll log itself in. It'll go check for updates and it'll download and install those updates. It should download and install the Flash player for you, and then you'll be good to go. The other thing we want to check also is if for some reason after you restart the computer and go through that, if it doesn't solve the problem, make sure that Flash is checked in Secure Updater. If you right-click on your Secure Updater icon down there by the clock, you can actually left-click on Select Applications to upgrade. And you want to make sure there's a check next to Adobe Flash Player, which there should be. But I mean, just about everybody has it, so it should be checked.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it, and it says Adobe Flash Player. No, it's not checked.
Okay, put a check mark to the left of it. That's why it's not updating.
Okay.
And then click Apply and Update. And then it'll go through. So at some point it got unchecked somehow, but go ahead, put that check mark in there, and then hit Apply and Update, and it'll stay checked going forward, and it'll keep updating for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, hey, thanks for the call, Linda. Linda's also in the drawing for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. If you didn't know what Secure Updater was, Linda's running a program on her computer called Secure Updater. Secure Updater is a little system that the innovators at Schrock built to automatically and silently update all of your third-party software. So basically, if you Flash, Skype, Adobe Reader, Firefox, Chrome, all these programs that we have on our computer that we don't pay for, that don't come with the computer, those are third-party applications. And you have to keep them all up to date. And I know because my desk is literally 5 feet from the guy who does the updating for Secure Updater, who pushes out the updates to your computers. And every single day he has updates to push out. Every day. So if you're not installing updates on your computer for your third-party applications, not all of them, of course, but at least some of them, every day. Like Dropbox has one like every other day. Oh my goodness, Dropbox. But Dropbox is a good one. There's Google Drive right now. They changed up everything about Google Drive, and it was causing people problems until they rebooted their computer because they switched everything up. If you don't get those updates, your computer has vulnerabilities. That's why they made the update, was to close a vulnerability. So if you have these vulnerabilities, it doesn't matter what password management service you use then, because your computer is wide open anyway, and you may as well give the bad guys free reign. So you can get a 15-day free trial of Secure Updater over at secureupdater.com. That's secureupdater.com, free trial. They don't even ask for a credit card for the first 15 days. You install it on your computer, you'll be shocked. Go ahead and install the trial. You'll be shocked how out of date your computer is and how badly you need to keep it up to date. 866-496-8772. Let's jump into the calls here again and go to Stephanie. Stephanie, how can I help you today on Compute This?
Well, I was just wondering, I back up to an external hard drive.
Okay.
And is there any reason that you need to unplug that or anything for this upgrade that's coming?
Actually, not really, no. One of the things that we noticed on previous updates with that we went from one OS to the other, I think they've got this one nailed down, but because that's what you're getting basically. The Fall Creators update is not an update, it's an upgrade. You're going from one version of Windows to an entirely new version of Windows. It's like going from Windows 7 to Windows 8. Except they're just all called Windows 10, and they call them updates instead of upgrades now, and it doesn't seem so scary. But your backup on that drive, if you tried to restore that backup, you'd have to have an image backup. Otherwise, it wouldn't restore because it's like you're getting a whole new computer, and then it's going to do a whole new backup and back up to that drive all over again. So we're going to do some things like create restore points. That the Schrock Safe upgrade creates restore points before the upgrade happens. If you have backup software, we've talked about possibly triggering a backup for customers, causing that to trigger before we do it, because we want to make sure you have a good backup. But on the other hand, if we trigger your backup, it could take 9 hours to complete, and then we're like, please wait while we complete your backup. 9 hours later. Okay, let's move forward. How many customers are going to get frustrated and just, turn it off or close it or do something like that actually causes a problem? So we don't want that to happen. No, you don't have to unplug your backup for the update. The update's not going to come. Usually Microsoft pushes out updates on the second Tuesday of the month. So that means, here we are today, and that means the second Tuesday in September is going to be the 12th of September. And then the second Tuesday of October is when I'm guessing that's when this is going to come out. The second Tuesday of October is the 10th. So you've got about a month before the update comes out. So, I don't want to freak people out and get everybody super scared that their computer is going to, implode tomorrow or anything. It's just going to implode next month. I mean, you got plenty of time. No, like I said, 80% of the people are not going to have a problem. It's that poor 20% of the people that are going to be coming into the service center for an hour of labor or 2 hours of labor for us to, restore a backup or get something fixed or, restore some files or figure out why their start menu doesn't work or fix their antivirus software, because there's a lot of changes coming to the Windows 10 Creators Update. We're going to talk about that next year. So does that answer the question for you, Stephanie?
So I can leave it plugged in.
Leave it plugged in. That's right. Now,
okay.
Quick question. Are you running Drive Advisor on your computer?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. So your hard drive is healthy then, right?
Right.
Perfect. All right. Sounds good. Thank you for the call, Stephanie. I appreciate it. 866-496-8772. That's one of the biggest problems that we see with backups. When backups don't complete properly, it's usually because either the target drive, the backup drive, or the source drive, your main hard drive, one of the two of them is starting to fail. It has bad sectors that can't be imaged. So as a result, the innovators at Schrock said, wow, a lot of people have all kinds of problems, whether it's updates, the upcoming Windows 10 Fall Creators Update, whether it is doing a backup, whether it's just, hey, my computer's acting wonky. How do I know if my hard drive is bad? And you go look for all the hard drive monitoring software, and the good software is all paid software. You have to buy a license. It's about $30 a computer. It's reasonable, but you have to buy a license, or it's just chock full of adware, pop-ups, things like that. And it's free, but, you get all the ads on your screen. So we decided, the math and the software behind reading the hard drive smart data is not that difficult. So we decided to create Drive Advisor. It took him about 3 weeks to actually create the first iteration of Drive Advisor, which Adam is a perfectionist. If you saw Adam working on Adam, this is his baby. But if you saw him working on Drive Advisor, he gets in this zone, and then all of a sudden he's like, yes, 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 yes. And you're like, whoa, Adam, what's going on, man? He goes, I reduced memory usage by 1%. And you're like, how much memory was it using? He's like, I was using 200 megabytes. 200 megabytes or, whatever. And that's not how much it uses. I don't know how much it uses off the top of my head, but it's like, yeah, I reduced it by 1%. And he gets super excited about that. And it's cute. But no, he takes it seriously. He wants it to run as efficiently as possible on your computer, use as few resources as possible so it doesn't get in the way. The only thing Drive Advisor does is it sends you an email to let you know that your hard drive is bad and that you need a new one. So you can get a free copy of Drive Advisor at driveadvisor.com, and it's spelled advisor, E-R, like American. Drive Advisor, made in America. driveadvisor.com. You can install it on your computer. It'll tell you if your hard drive is good, bad, or ugly. It doesn't have an ugly setting, but it'll tell you the health percentage of the drive, how likely it is to fail. And it sends you an email to let you know. Unless you're Betty, then you don't get the emails, because if you have an AOL email address, apparently Drive Advisor's emails must go to spam or something. I don't know. So you can also look at the icon down there by your clock. If you get nervous about your hard drive, Drive Advisor puts a little icon by your clock. It's the letter D. You can single click on that. It'll pop open the window, tell you the health of your drives too. All right, 866-496-8772. Final break of the program. When we come back, we're going to give you some of the good things coming in Windows 10. We've talked about all the negative stuff. Let's end the show on a positive note. Coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed semantic endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in to Compute This, final segment of the show. Your last chance to get in for a chance to win that $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. 866-496-8772. Some of the good stuff today. Coming along with Windows 10 Fall Creators Update. All right, so first of all, the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update is an actual upgrade. It's going from one version of Windows to another, and they are removing some features, they're changing some features, and they're giving you some new features, okay? So one of the things that a lot of people grumbled about is in the new version of Windows, Microsoft Paint is going away. Yeah, it's gone. It's removed. They're replacing it with, like, MS Paint Pro. So I mean, it's 3 more letters or something, but it's the same thing except the new version of Paint. You know, Paint hasn't been updated. You know, back in the day, it was great for, like, let me compare. Paint is like a kid with a crayon at a restaurant who gets a little kids menu, you know, and they can draw on the kids menu with the crayon. That's Paint. The new version of Paint will allow you to create 3D designs and send them to a 3D printer to have them printed into reality. So it's a little bit of an upgrade, but you can still color with a crayon on it, okay? And I'm a big Paint fan. Like all my guys have all these super awesome programs for screen capturing and, you know, doing things, and I'm just like, you know, print screen, start, type Paint, hit enter, Control V, paste it in there. There's my screenshot. Save it, you know, save as PNG, go. And the guy's like, that's so much work. Just get this screen capture thing and just click, and it does it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get there someday, but, you know, it works. I am not unlike you guys. I have rhythms and patterns, too, where that just work, and I like it because it works, right? But then something like this happens, and I have to change that rhythm and pattern. It's not – I have the same resistance to change that you do. I genuinely do. The difference is I have that extra kick in the rear that if I don't try the new stuff first, you're going to call me and ask me about the new stuff, and I'm not going to know about the new stuff. So I've got to try the new stuff, which is, of course, why I'm going to have to buy the new Galaxy S8 Note, as well as the iPhone 8, because if I'm going to talk about these amazing devices, I should own them all, right? Yeah, my wife doesn't go for that one either. All right, so moving on. Things you're going to expect to see in the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update. The user experience. The logical place to start is, of course, the Start menu. All right, so basically the Start menu's design is unchanged. They're going to integrate the Cortana interface into the Start menu. So if you've ever typed a search thing, if you click on Cortana and type the name of a program, like if you wanted to open Drive Advisor or Secure Updater or something like that, you can start typing it and it'll pop up. And then there's also, you can click on, to search for it on the internet if it's not on your computer. Let's say you wanted to find Secure Updater because you didn't have it. You can start typing Secure Updater. It's going to see it's not on your computer, and then you can click on Search, which is going to open a search window and go on and do all that stuff. Well, now Cortana is getting smarter, and they're saying, if you're going to hover your mouse over the search thing, we may as well pull the snippet from the website into a window so you can see where you're going to go if you click. Little touches like that. You're going to see little touches, not radical design changes, but those little touches that are actually going to be really helpful. Oh, wow. I just got an alert. My Secure Updater subscription will expire on the 10th. To renew now and keep your computer protected, click here. I better do that. All right, moving on. Yeah, I have to subscribe too, guys. Moving on. Windows Update is evolving again. It's going to give you fewer of those little side slide pop-up notifications when you're doing stuff telling you it's time to restart your computer. It's going to stay in the background for the most part until it force restarts your computer. And then it's going to force restart it. Another cool thing that this is going to be awesome. All right. How many times have you tuned into the Facebook feed for this program and heard the audio looping over itself? That's because the Windows sound mixer in Windows 10 is junk. And if you don't remember to I have to disable. I can't just mute my speakers. That's what I did last week is I muted the speakers. Not enough. I have to disable the speakers entirely in the system so the audio doesn't loop back. And there's settings, of course, you can go through and change it, which I would do every week. And then, of course, if I want to listen to something on the computer, if I want to open a YouTube video and listen to somebody talking about something, I have to turn my audio back on. So I turn my audio back on, and then if I don't forget to turn it off, it's a pain in the rear. Windows 10 is going to introduce individual sliders for each application, so I can set my audio levels and leave them on each application, on an application-by-application basis. Isn't that awesome? So you want to listen to your music loud? You can turn your music up loud. If you don't want your computer to be loud in the browser, you can mute that so that when you go to that one website and that one pop-up ad comes up at 1 a.m. when everyone's asleep, and it's like, have you got that phone call? you've won a cruise. And you're like, you just blew a foghorn in my ear. Why would you think that that's a good thing? So when you get that pop-up in the middle of the night when everyone's sleeping, it's not super loud. So that's pretty cool. In settings, they're going to streamline a bunch of things that nobody looks at. That's awesome. Security, this is a big one. So remember we talked about Windows Defender. Windows Defender is not supposed to be your primary antivirus software. Windows Defender is the barest minimum by which other antivirus products should be judged. In other words, if you have an antivirus product that doesn't at least do these things, it cannot be called an antivirus product. Since Windows Defender's inception, there have been an entire new classification of threats that have come out. Primarily, we're talking about the ransomware software, the encryption software, the stuff that gets in your computer and encrypts everything and then demands a ransom of half a Bitcoin, which, oh my goodness, half a Bitcoin right now, guys? A Bitcoin goes for $4,600 as of last night. So half a Bitcoin is $2,300. And if you don't have half a Bitcoin, if you don't happen to have that laying around in the couch cushion somewhere, like the TSA guy who stopped the guy at the airport, no joke, stopped the guy at the airport because he says he saw Bitcoin in his luggage. And the security guy's like, you saw Bitcoin in my luggage? You serious about this? You saw Bitcoin? Like, I just want to be sure you actually saw it with your eyes. He was a promotional guy, and so he was doing some kind of promotion or giving a speech on Bitcoin or something, and he had little Bitcoin pins in his luggage, and it was like a promotional pin, you know? And like, yeah, we saw those Bitcoins, and we know what they're worth, and you can't fly with more than $10,000, blah, blah, blah. 4 hours later, somebody with a brain actually said, those aren't Bitcoins, you know? But if you have Windows Defender is going to add exploit protection to keep you safer from this kind of stuff in the event that your antivirus lapses. So that's an important thing to keep in track of. So smarter storage, OneDrive is going to be a little bit better as well. And you're going to get a few new Edge features. If you use the Blue E, your browser is going to get a little bit smarter. And you're going to get some new favicons, things like that you can, or not favicons, emojis. You can get some new emojis for your texting and typing because we all love emojis. All right, so I need to draw a winner for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Hang on the line there, Gail. We'll take your call here as soon as I'm done with the After Schrock show. Linda, congratulations. You've got yourself the $25 Schrock gift certificate. Linda, Kathy will get a hold of you from the Lincoln Service Center and get that to you. Folks, thanks for listening in on the program today and watching on Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Please share the show with your friends. We really appreciate that. If you're not fans on Facebook, become fans because you get heads up on news and other things that other people don't hear about until, later on down the line. All right, we'll be on the Omaha Morning Blend tomorrow, 9 a.m. And until next weekend, we'll be back with another edition of Compute This.
This is Nebraska's news, weather, and traffic station. This is News.
It's funny, I didn't have my clock over here on the left open to like my show clock. I was just kind of looking at the clock on the wall for breaks and stuff, and I'm like, gosh, I got to start following like a clock, And so I'm looking off to the side here, and I'm seeing, there's no clock. I don't know. I try to back time the exit of the show so that it is right when the news kicks in, right? And so I'm looking at the face of the producer, and I'm trying to gauge how much time I have left based on how worried he looks. Sometimes if you get close to it, they're like, and you go, okay, and go. That looks about right. All right, so I have some time here to grab some questions on Facebook. If you guys have any, feel free to post them now, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, but you already knew that because you're there right now. All right, Mercfest. Yeah, Mercfest would be awesome. Oh my goodness. Some of the stories that we didn't get to today, I'm going to post all these throughout the week on our Facebook page as well. But iPhone users are in for some big changes with the iPhone 8. They are going completely. If you've seen the Note 8, oh my goodness, that is an absolutely beautiful device. Best Buy got their promotional copies or the promotional devices in. They're not available for purchase until the 15th. But my goodness. And if you had a Note 7, Samsung is running a program that you actually get half off the Note 8. You can get 50% off the Note 8 if you buy it. But the device is a beautiful device. Wall-to-wall glass, no bezel at all, no button on the bottom, wall-to-wall glass, the whole bit. The iPhone's going to do the same thing, which means this is the first complete redesign of the iPhone interface since its inception. You've always had that home button on the bottom, whether it's been a physical button or a digital button, there's always been a button there. Well, that button is going away now, and there's not even going to be a software button. It's just going to be, it's going to completely change. The way you open the home screen is going to be different. There's no home button anymore. They're getting rid of the concept entirely. So when you swipe up from the bottom to unlock your phone, it will go to multitasking mode. You can pick what app you want to launch, and you can switch between the apps and do all kinds of stuff. Everything is gesture based on the iPhone now. So you're going to do different things. You'll have different gestures. And of course, we don't know what those gestures are yet. We know that there's an upward flick to go back to the home screen. An animation in testing sucks the app back into its icon. So when you close an app, it goes back into its icon where it came from. Let's see. The multitasking interface has been redesigned to look like a series of standalone cards that can be swiped through versus a stack of cards that you currently see. Abandoning the Touch ID sensor in favor of facial recognition. So in other words, they're getting rid of the Touch ID, the fingerprint ID, to unlock your phone. And they're going to facial recognition software with the camera, something that Samsung phones have had for years. That hasn't always worked great, I'll tell you that. The security people are kind of like, well, it's a little less secure because, like, you know, I can take your phone and, like, if I'm a mercenary, I can take your phone and, like, hold it in front of your face and unlock your phone. I don't even need your fingerprint. I don't even have to manhandle your thumb or cut your thumb off like a good mercenary. I can just grab your head, put it in front of your phone, and it'll unlock. So anyway, change is not bad. Change is necessary, blah, 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 all that stuff. There's backlash, especially when Apple got rid of the headphone jack. There was a lot of backlash about having that stupid little lightning adapter that everybody hates. And then, of course, Apple was right there with a set of Bluetooth earbuds to sell you. But honestly, guys, if you're going to buy the new iPhone 8, you're going to lay out close to $1,000 for it. And when you do, you're already committed. I mean, it doesn't matter what they change. You're going to love it because you paid $1,000 for it. Same thing with the Note 8. I mean, honestly, I have a Galaxy S7 and I'm looking at the Note 8 and it's a beautiful phone. But I'm just of the opinion that I just bought an S7 a little while ago, like less than a year, I think, maybe a year. I don't need to go buy another phone at this point, because to do that would be an incredible waste of money. But man, I want it so bad. All right, so what else to see here? Any questions so far? Nothing posted there so far, so jumping back in again. Let's see what to expect. We did that. Thousands of mercenaries, we got that. Okay, that one's a video. Giant ransomware campaign just sent millions of malware spreading emails. During the game last night, actually, I was at the Memorial Stadium for the football game, and I got a weird text on my phone that was something about, my doctor hasn't told me about this diabetes thing, in a link. Yeah, it was a really poorly constructed phishing attempt, but imagine that text message reworded a little bit. New results from your testing that your doctor is concerned about, click here. And you're phishing basically for how many people went to the doctor today. And, you know, it's only going to be like 1% of the people you send the message to, but that 1% are going to click the link. And that's what it's all about, getting people to click the link, because it'll take you then to a website that's going to infect your phone. As we talked about last week, there's a huge increase in the number of phone infections going around right now. So this malware campaign is infecting people with the Locky ransomware, which is continuing its resurgence. This new campaign is the biggest reason for that. 23 million messages containing Locky were sent in the last 24 hours, with the attacks spiking in time to hit U.S. workers as they come back to their desks. So basically, when you get to work on Tuesday, if you have any alerts here about the number of hey, there's a message here, and you click a link in it, be careful with what you're clicking in your links on Tuesday, because it could be a malware message. New campaign was discovered by AppRiver. It's one of the largest malware campaigns seen this year. So watch out for that. It has a zip file containing a Visual Basic script that when it's clicked, it goes to download the latest version of the Locky software and encrypts all the files on your computer. And then they're demanding half a Bitcoin, which is about $2,300 to unlock your files and get your files back. Now, a lot of you are sitting here saying, who's going to pay $2,300 to unlock your computer? I just buy a new computer and forget about it. Well, we have some data recovery. We just did a data recovery for a company here in town. They paid $6,000 for it. So there are people out there that have data and information on their computer that is important enough to pay for. And the thing about this ransomware is it encrypts your backups too. So these people that have valuable data almost always have a backup, or in some cases a RAID array. And it's always, it's good, it's backed up. But then when they get hit with ransomware, it infects everything and locks everything up. Another thing we didn't have time to get to today, AT&T expands their 5G trials to 3 more cities. This is interesting. The cities of South Bend, not Nebraska, Waco, and Kalamazoo, in partnership with Ericsson, Nokia, Intel, and Samsung. AT&T has announced it will be expanding its fixed wireless 5G trials to 3 more cities by the end of the year. Now it's now slated to receive the pre-5G fixed wireless coverage will be customers in South Bend, Indiana, Waco, Texas, and Kalamazoo, Michigan. For the 3 trials, AT&T is using Ericsson's 2.8 or 28 gigahertz radios, blah, 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 more technical stuff we don't need to know. According to AT&T, which last month reported a bunch of money, its small business and customer trials in Austin have given it new insights into 5G performance and propagation. In Austin, we see all types of weather and substantial foliage. Taking our fixed wireless 5G trials out of the lab and into the real world helps us learn important factors about how the millimeter waves and 5G interact. So basically what they're saying is in the lab it works great, but now they're taking it out and putting it outside where like the tower's behind a building. See if it hits the building, does it go through the building? Or do everybody in the building cook like little potatoes? Or does people get really fast internet? We don't know. Let's see. The network will be rolled out to 20 other metro areas by the end of 2017, including lots of places that aren't Omaha, or Lincoln, or South Bend, Nebraska. Actually, if you have friends or family in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Boston, Chicago, Atlanta, or Nashville, they're the next cities slated to get it. AT&T previously said the 5G evolution networks involve upgraded cell towers. Why is that in the news story? We're going to have to upgrade the cell towers to put on new transmitters. Yep. Okay, it's going to come out with a new thing called LTE-LAA, carrier aggregation on the network, which means attained speeds of 750 megabits a second during a trial in San Francisco. Earlier in the show, I erroneously said 10 megabit. 10 megabits per second is pretty good. 750 megabits per second is 7 times faster than the Wi-Fi we put in the holiday special 3 years ago. So yeah, and then people are using that Wi-Fi just fine at home right now. They have no problems with it. They're streaming on it the whole bit. 750 megabits per second is a pretty big deal, especially going to a cell phone. Let's see. The carrier said it invested $350 million into its Indianapolis networks. We're excited for the new faster connectivity. Blah blah blah. While AT&T's plans for 5G have seen it aggressively deploying equipment as well as investing in technology, it was outbid in May by Verizon, who acquired another company in its portfolio and spectrum. They're buying this other company had the millimeter wave spectrum. They'd purchased it or reserved it or whatever. Verizon doubled AT&T's bid and bought this company for $3.1 billion because Verizon's got to make sure that they've got the same thing. Let's see. Verizon is similarly rolling out a series of 5G trial networks across the U.S. in May, announcing deployment of its first network in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Why are they all going to Michigan? What is it with Michigan? What makes Michigan a good place to test? Anyway, it consists of Cisco, blah, blah, Cisco, blah, blah, Samsung, blah, blah, 5G, blah, blah. Yep, that's important stuff. The blah, blahs, you cannot forget them. All right, anything else here? Nope, that's about it. So basically, it's going to be a multi-vendor solution. So what you need to have is 5G towers, 5G phones, and carriers that are willing to give people plans. Because imagine your data cap at 750 megabits a second. Like your data cap is gone in like 10 minutes if you stream something in HD. So that would be bad. All right, last call for questions. Schrock Innovations Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. All right. Last thing I'm going to put out there real quick is it's actually really shocking to me, guys, that given the small amount of promotion that we have done for the Schrock Safe upgrades so far, that it has sold so well. Nearly 20% of the available licenses are gone. If you have not already purchased one of these for your computer in your home, or one for each computer in your home, I should say, to be careful there, I would definitely recommend getting them, because what's going to start happening is we're going to go probably one more week here of just talking about it on the radio, and then we're going to start to basically micro-target customers that we believe are going to be interested in it, that maybe haven't heard the radio show yet, maybe they've been busy, maybe they've been doing stuff over the summer, whatever. But basically the way we're going to micro-target is if you came in for a Windows 10 upgrade from us, and then you had a preventative maintenance checkup or two subsequently after that, you're likely interested in the Schrock Safe Upgrade software. Like I mentioned, there's about 2,000 customers that we've already identified that fall in that category. And we're obviously not going to send promotional messages out to the customers who have already purchased. So basically, if you want to get in and get that taken care of now, it's a good idea to do that. That way it's purchased and it's done and you've got your copies reserved. There have been a few people. We had one customer come into the service center to buy it. He brought a check in and said he paid for it. We got his order. We created his Schrock account for him. We took his check, and then he said, "Okay, great, there you go." And he's like, "Well, I want my software." And we said, "Well, when it's out, you'll download it." And he didn't seem to understand that. So basically, you have to have a Schrock account to buy the Schrock Safe Upgrade, which means you're going to have to create an account on our website at SchrockInnovations.com. You've got to do that. Whether you buy it in the store, we'll create the account for you in the store, or if you buy it at home, then you create your own account on the website. It's not a big deal. It's a username and a password. You put in your information. Once you have your Schrock account created, then you can purchase it, and you can use it in the future for maintenance checkup certificates. So if you bought a maintenance checkup certificate, you already have a Schrock account. You already created it. So you can go through and get that software. And then when it's released, we're going to actually release the software before the update so that you have time to go and download it from your Schrock account. And if you have any trouble downloading, we got plenty of time to sort those things out then. And then if you know someone's going to do this, but if you try to run it before the update's out, it's going to come up and be like, no, not time yet, not time yet, not time yet. And then we're going to have an estimate window there of when we think the time is going to be. And then right now it's just going to say TBD, to be determined, because Microsoft has not given us a firm date, usually a week or two before they do. And once we have that firm date, then you'll have an idea of when it'll be this date or afterward. And then you don't have to worry about it every day. Of course, we'll send out an email to everybody to tell them to download and install when the time comes. So don't fret about it. So basically, it's on the website, SchrockInnovations.com. If you click on shop, we put it under specials, just because it's easy to find there. It's not really on special. If you decide you don't want to do it yourself at home, you can come into the service center once the update is released. It does cost a little bit more. It costs about $30 more to have the technician do it in the shop. But let me tell you, the technician in the shop is going to take this exact same program. We have a copy for in-house use that doesn't require a license key. And then he's going to install that. He's going to use this software that you're looking at on the website. So you can literally save yourself $30 if you buy it on the website. So just a heads up, especially if you have more than one computer, you're saving $30 a computer. That adds up to a lot of money saved. All right, guys, we're going to head out for the day here today. I'll post all these stories up throughout the week at Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. And thanks for joining us on the program today. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to either email them in, Thor, Thor, at SchrockInnovations.com. You can always call the show while we're on the air. And while we're off the air, this same phone number goes to our Lincoln Service Center. So if you have questions there, calling that number will get you straight into Lincoln as well. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a great